Om Bhadram Karnevih Shrunuyam Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshavijayatraha Srirangai Tushtvagum Sasyanudhi Yashemadevahitam Yadayuhu Om Shanti 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 Om Swasti Nः Indro Viddhasravaha Swasti Nः Pukha Vishwavedaha Swasti Nashtaksho Avishtanemihi Swasti Nः Brihaspatir Dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, yesterday we started with a theme, illusion, and how it can be an instrument, help or knack in our meditative practices. And the sentence was, world is illusion. That is what the sentence we took. World is illusion. And we decided that we will decipher the exact definition of these words. Definition of what is meant by world and what is meant by illusion. So, what exactly is illusion? Like in everyday language, what we say? What event is deemed to be called illusion?
It's really like being under a false or incorrect belief. That's generally used, I think.
So
it can be visual, but or mental.
So what is the difference between non-existent and illusion? Is there a line between non-existent and illusion? Or something to be called illusion, does it have to be non-experience? Or something has to be called illusion, is it a criteria that we must experience it?
It's like a mirage, in the desert if it's hot. And you see that image, that doesn't mean it does exist. I mean, the oasis does exist somewhere, or but if you go towards the mirage, it won't be there. So, I mean, both are true.
Yeah. So there are two things. The real oasis has to be somewhere, and the mirage has to be experienced to be called it illusion. Like horn of horse. Horn of horse. Or say horn of dog.
Unicorn?
Unicorn.
No. Like horn of dog. Do we experience it?
No.
So it's simply non-existent.
But you could imagine it.
Yeah. But it's never an experience. If we somehow we experience it and we find that the horse or the dog has some twigs. So that horn of the horse experienced is to be called illusion?
If one experiences the horn of
The horse.
Experience a horn on a horse.
Horse,
Yeah.
like the twigs are there. The horses sometimes they go in the twigs and they might get some leaves or twigs. So if you see at it, then that horn is an illusion. My point is, to call a thing illusion, you have to experience it. Like we say, if the body is illusion, then we pinch it, and why we are experiencing the pain? Or if mind is illusion, why we do have all those thoughts?
So you have to get to the other end in order to know that it was an illusion.
Yeah. So we have to stay with it for some time. Rather than questioning, if something is illusion, then why I am experiencing it? Something that is experienced, that only has prospect of becoming illusion if seen carefully. Something that we do not experience, we will call it non-existent, not illusion. So the first logic that is given, that world is illusion, is because it is seen. Jagat mithya drishyatvat. Because there are things that we have seen and later they are proved that they are not there. Some of the things as mirage. So illusion will be experienced among the things that we are experiencing, not among the things that we are not experiencing. So simply something is seen or experienced doesn't mean it is not illusion. It has all the prospect of being proved illusory in the future. I'm not saying it's illusion, but if we say that we are experiencing something, that's why it's not illusion, is not a correct logical sequence.
Once more, if we are experiencing
Something,
then
the mere experience is not the proof that it cannot be prospectively illusory. Like it has prospect of being proved illusion.
yeah.
Like you see, we say that if thoughts were all illusion, then why there is, if mind is illusion, why we experience the thoughts? So everything that have been proved illusion in our life was experienced at some time. So let's not get so much excited by something which is experienced, because it can be, I'm not saying it is surely, let's take, it can be proved or experienced as illusion in the future. Second thing that we were talking, people have tried hard to understand world as illusion, where the definition of world is outer than a skin,
Out of
more than a skin. Something which is beyond our skin is world, something which is within this 7, 8, 10 meters of a skin is you. And people have tried hard to experience the world bordering a skin, beyond a skin, as illusion, and they have failed. Because when we say world is illusion, we understand world being something other than our skin. We never question the things that are in this bag. This maybe 10 meter or 20 meter bag, whatever it would be, squeezed. So we never question it. And even if somebody questions it, a few, then they never question something which is even closer than them, that is our mind. If we say world is illusion, then where from your world begins? More than a skin, within a skin, or within a skin, your body or your mind? What is the borderline between you and the world that you are trying to experience as illusion? When we say the world is illusion, what exactly we cover? What are the things that are covered in the word world?
But is it not enough just to say, in answer to that question, that also the body and the mind, I mean, that's all part of the world.
Yes. This is all the part of the world. World is not, because from my side you are the world. From your vision, we are the world. So what is illusion? So second definition of illusion they have given, whatever is seen is illusion. The seer is not.
It must be seeing the world through an eye.
Yeah.
Experiencing it through an eye.
The seer is not, the seen is. Whatever you can see, it has prospect of becoming illusion. I'm not saying it is illusion. I'm saying it has prospect of becoming illusion. Let's try and see if it is not, or if it is. For that, like any experience to happen, we have to give some justified time to it. We do not agree to it, we do not disagree to it. But we just, like with some inquisitiveness, we will give some time to it. And seer is always you, rather me. However mingled it might be, however distorted it might be, however influenced by environment, your own picture of yourself, your own ideas about yourself, it might be, but there is something that you claim to be I. It might be false, it might be illusion, it might be non-existent, but I as an experience is natural in all human beings. We just limit ourselves to human being. We don't know if it is I is experienced by animals and trees and rocks, as Rishis says. But let's say we have an experience of I. We may hate it, we may not like it, but there is an experience of I. And everything other than that I is prospective of becoming illusory. Seen is illusion. Seer is illusory. Seer is not. And seer is always experienced as I. The one who knows things is experienced as I. The moment you try to find who is knowing, an I comes before. I may not be always experienced, like when we are walking, we are talking, we are engaged in things, we might not experience I always. But whenever we question upon who is the knower, it comes in the form of I. It never comes in the form of you. You may not like it, you may want to destroy it, destruct it, distort it, modify it, do whatever you want to do it, but it is there. And Shankaracharya told, referring to the people who didn't want I, very jealous in destroying it, that however a good dancer might be, gymnast might be, but he cannot stand upon his own shoulders. And if somebody speaks, I don't have tongue, to say that I is not there is like somebody speaking, I don't have tongue. Without tongue you cannot speak. Now, when we are seeing this illusion from perspective of I, whole scenario changes. Then, illusion is not a scary thing, because you have an anchor as I. And the moment Swamiji used to live in border between Sarnath and Varanasi, one of the Swamis that I studied with. And he says, look at these Buddhists. They don't have a sparkle in their eye because they have denied. They don't have a sparkle in their eyes because they have denied their own existence. Nothing to do with Buddhist, nothing of the sort. But the moment you reject this I and try to find illusion or to see illusory nature of your mind, you have no anchor to stand upon. Then one gets into something that we were talking about, into the all this jungle of mind, and one may succeed. I do not say one may succeed, but the journey becomes very like riding on a general class train. Yes, it's very jumpy, and so having I as the anchor, and whatever is immediately seen as illusion, one should meditate. whenever one starts getting lost in, one should come back to I. And this knowledge is like, they give the example of fire. Fire cannot exist because without wood or something to burn. But very nature of fire is, wood is there, fire is there, fire will burn itself, burn everything else, and burn the very wood upon which it is sustained. So in future, with practice, this I will get refined. This I will get refined for sure, but to immediately cut the I before experiencing, like real experience is like premature birth.
It's like
Premature birth. The child might survive, the child might not. Another thing that we were talking last time in Vrindavan, like when we are discussing this I or nature of mind, it is not only to be studied as object, but one has to put oneself into it. Like when we are talking about I, when we are listening to it, we should focus on what is I in me, rather than making I as an object of knowledge. Just see the I within you, the sense of me within you. Then understanding these things becomes much easy. Like then it's not a deep philosophical discussion. Then it's something like you are getting reference together with the words. So when I am saying I, and stick with I, and everything else is just bringing focus upon your I is quite helpful.
So you're not saying that the Buddhists are wrong in saying no I, I'm Atman. What you're, if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is that they analyze or experience and jump to that conclusion too quickly. Is that?
Too quickly. It's too quick. It's like, it's not helpful sometimes. Buddha cannot be wrong. But there are things that could be presented in more human way.
What I understand you saying, this I is just a, well, it's not just, it's the presence that's there, knowing that this is happening, and that is somewhat located here. It's my vantage point, it's my point of view, or my
That is your anchor.
It's my anchor, exactly. My anchor. And it doesn't really have a flavor, or it doesn't have a
Yes,
color.
it has a flavor.
It does.
Yeah, over the time. Because we have associated so many things with I.
Okay.
There are people who do not want to be what they are. to be what they are,
Okay.
So we can only operate from our own
but
perspective.
we do not have any other option to be what we are.
But it's not our identities, is it?
It's identity.
It is.
Yeah, it's like there is a eye. How eye is defined?
Okay.
You have a prism,
Okay.
and there is a red flower in front of prism. So prism will seem like red.
Yeah.
There is no redness in the prism, but prism has some reflection of color red.
Okay.
So all those identities
Oh.
have the reflection of their own colors in the prism. But do not condemn it. The moment people hear about it, they try very hard
Oh, okay.
to separate the red color from the prism, which is not very healthy. That is the thing that, fortunately or unfortunately, that is the thing that you have.
So then you're saying what I hold near and dear is this eye. So
Yeah.
I really like chai with ginger.
Yeah. So it's based upon quite lot of factors.
Okay.
It might be those concepts upon which your eye is formed might be faulty, but it's quite useful.
When you say faulty, what do you mean?
Like you might think I like this, but I like chai,
Yeah.
but you may actually not like chai.
Why? I mean, I like chai with ginger.
Like not you. I'm saying these are liking chai is like you might think I am very dull person,
Okay.
but you are quite interesting person.
Okay.
But you assume yourself to be quite dull person.
Mhm.
So that assumption might be faulty,
Right.
but it makes an eye of you, and that construction is quite helpful. So don't fight with it.
What would be the difference from the I you talk about to the ego? What would be the difference there?
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
It's like what exactly the pure I is, we don't know.
Okay.
It can't be expressed,
Mm.
but we have to work with what we have.
Mhm.
And any attempt to try to guess what the pure I is is not helpful.
It's ever changing, so you can't.
It's quite changing, but you have to stay with it.
Yeah.
One thing that I asked Ajayji, this is not I, this is not I, this is not I. So what is I? So he said, stay with it.
I'm not trying to ask clever questions, but I just wanted to know when one hears or reads, is this I you're talking about what they call the Jivatman?
Yeah, Jivatman, like the I that we experience.
Yeah. I'm only asking that because sometimes one comes across this word.
Yeah, Jivatman or individual I or ego. The I, basic I, that we have as our everyday experience.
That's a personality also.
Yeah, personality.
Is that Jiva, John? Jiva.
Hmm.
Jiva.
No.
Yeah, Jiva.
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 That's our assumptions based on our lives.
Yeah.
This has worked.
And any attempt to trying to supersede it is not helpful. It's not working. If I tell you are perfect, calm, silent, individual, all infinite, you may like it as a poetry, feel good for some time, but it's not helpful.
Pumping up the eye.
Yeah. One story how these things goes in Upanishad. A son was sent to a study in Varanasi or in Haridwar or somewhere. So when he came back, he became very arrogant, like he had studied in older university for such a Swetketu. So his father, he saw for 2-3 days. It's a Oh, son, what have you studied? I have studied these Vedas, these Puranas, these Shastras, grammar, scriptures. So he asked, did you study something by knowing which everything is known? The Atman, the self, the reality. He said, no, I have studied this, but I don't know anything, knowing which everything is known. So his motive was, see, Upanishads they see the people, like Upanishadic stories, they see the constitution of the people. There are some people who come to inquiry for knowing things. There are people who come to inquiry to become big. There are people who come to inquiry to gain something. So if somebody wants to have knowledge, so he will be attracted to this knowledge by telling him, if you know it, you will know everything. So there are different stories to motivate people. There was a king who wanted to become biggest. So he would do all the donation and charity so that he becomes very famous. So one of the sages asked him, do you know by knowing which you will become all powerful? So stories go like this. So he was more inclined in knowing things. So his father told, do you know something by knowing which you will know everything? No father. So he told, okay, so you go to such and such person and study with him. So he went there, and after few days he was instructed, this is reality. Just this is reality. Not that no. This is reality. So by this, what he meant, what was in his mind, is this body, physical body. And he stayed with it. And he was told reality never changes. But he saw that whenever body is there and it becomes weak, it becomes strong, at times it sleeps. So, but he gave enough time to it. He was not told reality is beyond body or this. He was told this is reality. And he stayed with body and he himself experienced that body changes. Then he went again to teacher and said, okay, so this is, I think body changes and it's my mind that is reality. So teacher, okay, yes, go and do the tapam, do the practice, do the meditations. So he did, stayed with it, but he observed that when he doesn't eat for a few days, he forgets Vedas. So he came and said that when I do not eat, I forget Vedas. So how can mind be reality? That is, okay, this is reality. Go, do the tapa. And then it is said, he did, he practiced, and he didn't came back. So teachers went to him, and they saw all glorious and happy and enjoying himself. So he said, do you need any more further question? No, sir. I know what reality is.
I know what?
What reality is. So, point is, whatever we assume as our I, we have to work with it, and whatever is seen as other than I or the knower, I and knower, same thing, has a perspective of becoming illusory. Now what could be the arguments, say for, I am saying, from my experience, and from scriptures and from logic that whatever is experienced as other than I is illusion. What makes you not believe in it?
Well, because I can engage with it.
Yes,
Are you asking a question?
yes,
What did you ask?
yeah. That whatever is experienced other than I or the knower is illusion. I'm not saying it has perspective of becoming illusion. I'm saying is illusion. And I am saying this from my experience, scriptures and logic. So you get engaged in dream.
Well,
People shout.
it's an hypothesis in this, that you say, I hear you say that why, at first I heard you say that, why don't I believe this is an illusion? Is that right? I mean, whatever is out there, you have a clear sense of who this seer is, who this experiencer is, this I, this Jivatman, but why don't, and also I do not want to see what is out there as an illusion. I think this is real. And why is that so? Is that your question?
No, I'm saying, what makes you think it's not illusion?
What makes me think it is not illusion? Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when I say,
I get engaged in it.
right, I can touch this, so it's not an illusion. So it's hard, and if I bang my head, it hurts. That's why I don't think it's an illusion.
Exactly. So we have already seen experience is never an example. Experience is never a proof that it's not an illusion. And we are not talking about outside, things outside. We are strict because there is a measure to understand. There is a technique to understand that this is illusion. That is our mind. The first illusory thing that we have to encounter is our own mind. Trying to prove or understand something outer than your skin as illusion has always proved wrong.
Once more.
Trying to, yes, that's once more.
Trying to understand something outer than your skin as illusion
Yes.
has always proved wrong,
Yeah.
because it never gives you an idea of
Illusion.
what illusion is.
Ah, okay.
Because the very question on you bang and you
Yeah.
feel the pain.
Yeah.
That pain itself is illusion. If I go to that extreme, the point is to experience illusion in your mind,
First.
of your mind. Then the exact idea of what is meant by illusion will come. So you say, you get involved into your mind and thoughts. And that proves it's not illusion.
Can you say that once more? I'm sorry, I'm a bit slow. So can you say that once more, please?
Like when we are sitting, and say we have sat with this, and start with meditating, and see the anchor I, and let the mind open its pitara, its box, Pandora's box. And what makes us get involved into it?
Well, we have to see the root, the source of identification. Like,
Exactly.
what is it that,
Exactly. That touch.
yeah, and what is it that makes us identify
Yeah.
with it?
So people will say, because I get identified to it, that's why it's not illusion. I would say, if you keep reminding yourself enough that it's illusion, you will not get identified to it.
You will not get unidentified.
Identified.
Identify with it.
No, oh, sorry, no, I've lost you again. I'm sorry. But
No, please.
once more,
Like if you keep reminding yourself enough that it's illusion, you will not get identified to it.
to the mind or to what?
To whatever.
To whatever.
Let's divide between only two things: seer and the seen. The knower and the known. And the first, if we close our eyes, the only known thing that we have is our mind, emotions, sensations in the body.
But then you said if you keep on
Reminding yourself,
reminding yourself that it is an illusion,
you will not get identified.
identified with the I or whatever.
With the thoughts, emotions.
Yeah, but how? But first of all, you have to. I mean, you can't just say it's an illusion if you haven't experienced it as an illusion.
Yeah, but this is a trick, and that will help you understand. That will make you just give a click into what exactly illusion is.
It
Well,
like
yeah,
prepares
but-
the mind
Yeah.
somehow
Yeah.
to understand it.
Yeah, but you said if you keep on reminding yourself that it is an illusion, but you might not believe it's an illusion.
It's not, you do not have to believe. Belief has something which you have already experienced. But this is a process to gain that experience. And at least you have to have belief in the process that it might give rise to an experience of illusion. Like somebody does a scientific experiment, and H2 and O is mixed and water is formed, H2O. So he has not seen the water being formed, but at least he should have trust in the process to try that H2 and O mixed together might form water.
It's like you're planting a seed. That it's kind of
It's not even a seed, it's a process.
a process.
It's a process
Yeah.
where you have to believe in some, like just giving it a try.
Yeah.
Giving it a try.
I find that I don't need to tell myself it's an illusion. I can remain in the body, and I can, on a physical level, experience the release of this mirage. So, and that does the trick for me. If you
Exactly.
So I don't have to say, oh, this is an illusion. You know, there's someone involved in the story. You know, I'm getting all angry about so and so, and you know, why did this happen back there? And I I go right back to the physical reality of what is. I feel the tension, and for some reason, it just the very fact of shining that light on it, that physical reality, then it just like it just goes away, just like a bubble that bursts.
But if you, sorry.
No, okay, this is really important. Yeah, for me to see that I don't need to actually. Oh, this is an illusion. I can go to the physical reality of it.
Yeah,
This for me is really important to know that. To do. Yeah, and it's good for me to say it.
Yeah.
This is how I do it.
Yes. And then what will happen? Two things will happen. The mind or sensations or this, they will start to loosen up.
Yes, that's
your
it.
grip over you.
Right.
And another very important thing will start happening. Your sense of I will start getting refined. Like your sense, we have talked about this I, Jivatman, ego, knower. That will start refining. All its kachra, all its garbage will be as if it will start going into this fire of illusion.
So just to say it one more time very briefly, for me it's physical. I can feel it physically.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And then it will start happening mentally.
Yeah.
Like you are sitting, and first thing that comes to mind when we sit for meditation is our shape of our body. And we become, when mind becomes chattering, becomes little less, the first thing that we experience is our body. And we experience our body as I very strongly. In meditation, it's not something that I am not the body, I am mind only. No, we experience it as very solid I.
Yeah.
It's because of the mind that we are not able to, we are so engaged in our mind, otherwise we experience this as our solid I. And with whatever I you experience, you stay with it, two things will happen. the grip of thoughts, concepts, ideas, your problems and solutions, they will start loosening up. Number one. And number two, this sense of I, which is so solid, which is so much in the body, will start shifting deeper, becoming more refined, becoming more joyous, becoming more light, whatever.
I don't know why it is that when you said like the Buddhists, they reject the I, right? I mean, no, you're not saying all Buddhists, but you're saying there is that kind of misunderstanding that, and can we also say that, and I have no idea, I mean, does this also exist, this misunderstanding in, let's say, Advaita? I mean, isn't it like maybe like a defilement of insight? Like, you know, like they use that term in Buddhism, which means that it's something, a misunderstanding that can arise out of insight.
Now, what happens? Like there are very few people, like in Bodh Gaya or in Dharamsala,
Yeah.
there are very few, I don't know anybody except Samdam Rinpoche, who really invest some time in studying Indian Hindu texts. And there is almost nobody left now who has really spent Hindu or the Vedantic teachers who have spent really some time in studying or understanding what the Buddhist view is.
You mean like what
What the exact view is there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So each one has an assumption of what others' view is, and then they try to refute it.
Oh, that's right.
You are getting? Like I assume, like people, they read Sanskrit text, Advait text, and in there, whatever is written about Buddhism, they take that to be literal, and they try to refute that view.
So, sorry, I'm just not totally following. So let's say, Advaita takes the Buddhist text and wants to refute what they're reading. Is that what you're saying?
Like
Sorry.
Advaita text,
Yeah.
they have
An Advaita text.
they have an assumption about what
They have an assumption about
what Buddhist texts say,
Okay.
and then they assume something and they refute it.
Okay.
They are not refuting what is exactly there.
Okay. Yeah.
They have made up something,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
misunderstandable view of
Yeah.
what Buddhists say,
Yeah.
and they refute it.
Yeah.
It is as if you are. I assume that you are saying that to now it's 9 o'clock in the night,
Yeah.
and I am arguing against it, but you have never said it.
Okay.
Similarly, you say that Aditya said that we are in the Varanasi. How come he said that we are in the Varanasi? But I never said that we are in the Varanasi.
So from both sides,
Yeah.
Because it can be like, because I actually, and it's been an untangling, like, so I have no idea why I'm crying, but I am. It doesn't make me sad.
Yeah.
I'm just crying.
Yeah.
So, because it's like, I did have an experience where, and it wasn't an experience at that point, but where the I was so refined. And then as I was coming, let's say down or up or whatever from it, it was like, let's say weeks, sometime later, as I was coming down or up, but I did this. And I noticed right then that was an aversion, like a rejection of myself. But it went underground and I wasn't able to like be aware of it anymore. somehow because I wasn't able to be conscious of it. So there has been this deep rejection of myself ever since that's been like based on a misunderstanding that I couldn't catch, right? So it's been this crazy untangling of, or unraveling of that tension. Yeah. So that's why I ask if it can be a defilement of insight. As they use that word in Buddhism,
Yeah,
and
it could be,
misunderstanding based
yeah.
on.
Yeah, so it could be
Yeah.
defilement
Because my
of,
teachers weren't at all like that. Like
Yeah.
they were very alive.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Our idea of I is based upon faulty understanding. But we cannot do anything about it.
Yeah, it's like we can't do anything about it.
Because of the example that Shankara gave, however clever and gymnast would be, he would do all the gymnastics, but he cannot stand upon his own shoulders. He cannot, he could put his leg or something, but a gymnast cannot stand upon his own shoulders. That I, however faulty it might be, how much we might dislike it, how much we may fear it. Oh, I don't want to be that I. Still, that is what you are. And the very fact of accepting this, or accepting your inability to do anything about it, starts a release.
It's,
A real purification. Yes, please.
I just wonder if you... So, there are two things. I get the feeling that both are guilty, both the Advaita people and the Buddhists are guilty of misrepresenting the other.
Are misrepresenting that. Yeah.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
Before I say that, I just want, if I mustn't forget the next thing I have to say, hang on. I just wanted to ask everybody, I'd take the opportunity now. I've got this sort of cough, I think it's sneezing, it's mainly allergic, I think. I'm just wondering, I'm asking if I'm really bothering people, if all this coughing and sneezing is bothering people. That's what I'd just like to know.
Not allergic to me.
No, but do you want some allergy medication?
I have extra.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can try anything, that's it. But I'm just asking if I'm bothering people.
No, as long as I know it's just allergies, then it's fine.
Okay, okay.
I'm enjoying it, John.
Good. Sometimes having a worse time than I am, okay. No, what I was saying, as I understand, it's Shankar you're talking with. Oh, Shankar, I can't say it easy way. This man here.
This boy here.
This boy here.
He was a boy.
He was about the 1100s, wasn't he? Something like that. What makes sense to me, I mean, I understand both the Buddhist argument and I can understand. What makes sense to me is that what he's saying is start from where you are,
Yeah.
not from where you would like to
No,
be.
no, no. He gives the example. If you fall on the ground, if you fall on the ground, what do you take to, which ground you catch to get up?
What choice do you have?
Where you have fallen. If somebody falls, sleeps on the floor, it's that very floor one catches to get up.
So, was that correct what I said, that he's saying basically start
From where you are.
Yeah, he's saying. Yeah.
And he said that logically it's not possible. It seems not possible that light and darkness will be together. Logically, it's not possible that knower and the known will get mixed. Logically, it's not possible that you experience as I and that that you experience as you could get mixed, but it's getting mingled, it's getting together, and that is natural. Naisargiko ayam lok vyavahara. That is not natural and common in everybody. That this I, the so-called pure I, gets mixed up with thoughts, emotions, ego, your idea and concepts about yourself, others' ideas and concepts about you, how you want others to perceive you, it gets transformed according to all those variables. It should not be, he said, na bhavitum arhati, but it is there. It should not be, logically it seems it should not be, but it's a anubhav, it's experience, it's common natural experience. By calling it common natural experience, the first thing he says in underwords, in commas, that I listen him here, don't freak out. Don't freak out.
I don't think yeah.
By knowing this thing about you, don't freak out. Just stay with it. It's common, it's natural.
That's a relief.
Yeah, that's the relief. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't, like, basically I see him, listen him saying, don't freak out.
Good.
Stay with it, and everything that is seen, everything, it might be sensations in the body, it might be thoughts, or it might be emotions. Just let it be. If you cannot, take help of the anchor I. Or if you cannot, take help of the anchor thoughts. Like focus on I, and if it becomes too agitated, focus on your thoughts. First thing is not knowing the thoughts. Don't try to know, analyze. But if you cannot, then just know your thoughts. Just know them. Thoughts are coming and going. Would be that some thoughts you let them pass without knowing. But knowing might help. Third anchor could be a chosen thought, that is mantra.
Chosen thought, that is
Mantra.
a mantra.
What is it? I didn't hear.
Chosen thought,
Chosen.
like you make a thought,
Yeah.
that is mantra. These three, like self, thought, mantra. Self, thought, mantra. These three are enough I think these three are enough to help us meditate, and my belief is, which is based upon some experiences, that they can take us to whatever the spirituality, to enlightenment, so to say.
So when you say thought, you mean the idea, you say, oh, this is the thought I'm having now. I am
Like
not
you
the
are,
thought.
first you anchor yourself in me,
Mhm.
like your sense of I, and don't freak out That is the very important, that this is not real me, this is made me. Me was something different in the morning, this is something different now. Just whatever me is coming now, stay with it. It might change next moment, stay with that. If you cannot, then have some focus on that and other focus on thoughts that is going on. Like you are sitting and some thought came and you just knew.
What you mentioned yesterday
Like-
about being by the river,
Yeah.
watching that.
And the first thought, the very recurring thought that will come, that I was not able to see the thought. That is most common thought. Like when you try to see your thought, the most common thought will come is I was not able to see the thought. Let it pass. Oh, I was not able to see it. I am not able. That is the thought. Got it?
But some advice, I mean, if we take Papaji, or Punjaji, you know, like, his basic method when he was doing this sort of thing, not just like the bhakti, but when he was doing this, his basic message, his basic way of doing it was just saying, instead of trying to find the eye, just look behind and see if you can find the eye. And you keep looking, you can't find an eye. And this is what he insisted upon all the time.
That could work.
It could
How,
work.
what do you mean by looking behind that?
Well, what I was going to say was he wasn't sort of saying stay with the eye. He seemed to have, no, that's not a very respectful word, but he was saying if you look directly to try to find the eye, you won't find the eye. You won't find anything there.
That's the conclusion. But that will come, that you will come only after you stay with the eye.
Yeah, but he was getting people into this state almost immediately because they didn't stay there. But if one does what he says, one cannot sort of see any eye because whatever thought, what feels is like something behind that that's feeling or thinking that, and it goes on and on forever.
What I think what Papaji used to do is to tell people that they are enlightened. And that information used to make them so relaxed that they would actually get enlightened.
So that was his trick.
That was his trick.
I don't see so many enlightened.
Yeah,
That's another
One Swamiji, very big Swamiji in Vrindavan, he used to say, why don't talk about this? Because in Indian tradition we do not give so much idea. This getting enlightened has become very popular with, like it's like you arrive, like you achieve something in business, you become CEO. so in a spiritual world you make an effort and you get an certificate of enlightenment. So this enlightenment thing is very new. Before people would just practice. It was getting enlightened or even knowing that they are enlightened was not an issue. So perhaps enlightenment is, I think, a heightened experience of mind and a psychological salvation. Like, that is what is meant by enlightenment. Psychological
Psychological
salvation.
salvation. Right.
These new ways of saying things are so gross, they're not subtle, they're not refined, they're not. These new ways of saying things, they're not.
Yeah.
The further back, the better.
Yeah. So one Swami said, don't ask whether I am enlightened or the other. If in world 2, 3, 4 enlightened people are there, the world will keep going. You do your practice. Yes, you were saying something.
Well, I realize that that we have to all have this shared definition of what enlightenment is.
Yeah.
I think I spoke to this mathematician once, and he surprised me by saying, I said, why are you practicing mathematics? And he's also an older mathematician, and you know most of the time they're young, very young, if they have a really amazing career. And he said to me, because I'm surprised to say that, like my father who was a physicist, I realized that every day I might get a glimpse of something that I could not possibly know. So he didn't think he was coming up with a new basis for some kind of analytics. He was glimpsing into something that was already there.
Yeah.
And so that I just, as you were speaking, I realized that I saw enlightenment as a state that was achievable, and once you got there, you stayed there. But now I realize it might just be, like he said, that every day he got up hoping to see something that he couldn't conceivably know. And it wasn't something he was creating, it was like a glimpse into, or an open window, but the window would ultimately close, so he would get up and go the next day, hoping for
For his next high. For his next high.
Yeah.
So we will talk about the enlightenment and this thing. So we have, what we have got is in our practice, start with I, and what is other than I, just observe it or let it be. Do not say they are, like, don't get involved. If you get involved, just have the formula, this is not real. And it might pop up the real, its illusory nature. At least have that much trust in the words of other people. And if you are not able to stick with your I, start observing the thoughts. And if you find yourself getting too much entangled in thoughts, take help of mantra. All those masters, Nisargadatta, Papaji, they Ajayji, they got to idea. I was from doing japa. Papaji, before he met Raman Maharshi, he was doing japa, like doing mantra. Nisargadatta, he was doing mantra. Mantra is a way of saying no to your mind. It's nullifying your mind, saying, okay, I'm not going to listen to you anymore. So it's for me, it's the most powerful, subtlest, and least bumpy jumpy way. Because if you directly try to see the mind, things might open, like extreme pain in some part of the body, extreme emotional outburst. You will not go crazy, but those things are difficult to bear. With mantra, it happens gradual. It's slowly. It's a slow path, but it works. And we will elaborate upon it. I don't have time.
Aditya, it seems to me that over time that the teachings have got grosser and grosser and not subtler and subtler because the ego's got grosser. So instead of touching somebody with something really refined, now everybody's swinging round with hammers.
Actually, there are things which could be very subtle, but they do not work.
Well, I think they don't work because people don't get it because they're so used to throwing hammers.
Yeah. Those things do not make sense because telling subtle things, you are truth, knowledge, bliss, or things like that. They are called beautiful quotes. You can read them. I am you, you are the love. So you find those, yes, these kind of people, these teachers, they could gather a big flock of disciples. But you will see they are just emotionally charged, but with no real growth. Like, like it's against dignity of human, I feel it's against dignity of human being to treat them like, like get them high with quotes. Beautiful quotes. Don't do anything. Stay where you are. you know these things doesn't work. They make you happy.
To me, idea, the highest teachings come first. To me, the highest teachings come first.
Whose teachings?
The highest teachings come first.
Yeah.
The subtlest teachings come first, and then it drags on and drags on. And life's been dragging on for a while now, and it seems to me, maybe in 25 years, like Aditya says, everybody will start going, why are we using these nuclear weapons when, we just need to be like babies.
Time is up.
Thank you.